Today is Sunday, May 24th, and it's currently 6:15 p.m. Never share your goals. I know that sounds ironic from me when I've already told you multiple times on this channel what my goal is with this channel and why I've done it in the first place. But just hear me out. We often set goals because we either want to better ourselves in some type of way, maybe build a new habit or break an addiction, or we want to achieve something, accomplish something, build a business, get a degree, something of that sort. In both cases, there's the initial want, the initial motivation to to even set up that goal in the first place. Then you have the planning and the setting up and all that stuff. And then you have the actual action of doing the goal itself. But only the action itself will get you to the goal. Like it's the only thing that'll actually get you from step 0 to the final step. Now, the feeling of having achieved a goal can only be felt after doing the actual work necessary to get to that goal. No one gets to enjoy wealth that they built themselves without having built it themselves. No one gets to reap the benefits of having a large and happy family without putting the effort in building relationships and doing the work that it takes to get there, right? No one gets to enjoy the feeling of satisfaction without doing that work that actually makes them satisfied. However, and unfortunately, rather, we are able to mimic and get a taste of these feelings without actually having fully accomplished our goal. And this is something that pretty much anyone who's ever set up a goal before has likely experienced in some way or another. And it kind of goes like this: you come up with a plan, or you come up with a goal, you come up with a plan for that goal, and then you start working on it. And for a few days or a few weeks, everything's going well. Um, and you tell someone about it. You kind of tell them what you've been doing, how it's been going, and you'll hear positive feedback. And hearing that positive feedback will almost make you feel like you're actually doing the goal. It'll make you feel like you're already partly done with the goal itself. And slowly, that taste of that feeling of being done with a goal will start to settle in. And before you know it, you've lost all the motivation and want or need to continue and to drive forward with the goal in the first place. And it's not like you don't want to do the goal anymore. It's just that the want to do it isn't as strong as it used to be. And later on, someone will ask you how the goal's going, and you'll either have to lie to them or make up some type of excuse for why your progress has slowed down or has ceased completely. And so you tell yourself that the next time you won't tell anyone about your goal. Next time you'll keep it private and to yourself. But then the cycle just repeats. But the cycle doesn't have to repeat. There's a few key mistakes that everyone makes, including myself, that kind of makes all these goals fall apart. The first thing is being too excited about a goal. There have been many times where I was so excited about something new that I would tell people about it before I even started the goal. And because I told everyone about it, I felt the satisfaction, or at least a taste of it, before even starting the goal. And so I never even ended up doing the goal in the first place because I was already satisfied. And being able to hold back that excitement and using it as long-term motivation instead is necessary for being able to see these goals through to the end. Secondly, no matter how badly you want to tell someone about your goal, don't do it. I know it can feel like a bit of a burden or a weight on your shoulder to have a big and challenging goal, and letting someone else hear about that goal will almost allow them to help you ease that burden a little bit. But unless they're directly part of that goal, telling them is only putting you at risk for falling victim to the cycle all over again. Finally, I think setting goals that are too big without having intermediate steps in between to act as kind of like checkpoints to give yourself small motivational breaks can make it very difficult to go without trying to tell someone or be reliant on someone for accomplishing your goal. And this also just makes the goal more difficult in general. And so being able to chop up goals into achievable intermediate steps is very important for achieving very big and challenging goals. Now, obviously, if your goal is to do something publicly, like this channel is, then ultimately you're bound to end up technically telling people about it. But there's a difference between doing something publicly or online and personally telling your close friends and family about what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and all that stuff. I think there's a certain threshold for any goal that you have to kind of reach before you can start to tell people about your goal without kind of falling risk to that trap or that cycle of falling short in the first place. For me in this channel, I personally think that's around 50 to 100 videos. And only after that point, when I've proven to myself that I'm willing to stick to this goal and that I can stick to it, will I even begin considering telling people close to me. I want this video to be a lesson for me and for anyone watching this video to never share your goals without a good reason. It's probably worth saying that some goals are more important and meaningful than others, like learning how to bake brownies versus starting a business, but it all depends on how seriously you want to live your life. If you value any goal past a certain point, don't share it, unless you reach a certain point where failure becomes less likely than success. Then, and only then, should you even begin to consider telling people about your goal. That's my wisdom for today. Thank you for listening. See you next time.